In the ever-evolving world of Hollywood transformations, few moments capture the public's imagination quite like when a beloved actor steps into a role that demands a complete physical and emotional overhaul. David Harbour, the charismatic force behind the grizzled yet tender-hearted Jim Hopper in the hit Netflix series Stranger Things, has once again proven his dedication to his craft by unveiling a shocking new appearance on the set of his upcoming film Evil Genius. Filming in the quaint town of Woodbridge, New Jersey, Harbour's latest incarnation has left onlookers and fans alike in a state of stunned admiration, as he embodies a character far removed from the rugged, action hero vibe that has defined much of his recent work. Picture this: a man who has become synonymous with brooding intensity and unyielding resolve, now padded out to appear significantly heavier, his frame bulked up in a way that alters not just his silhouette but his entire presence. The suit he wears isn't merely a costume, it's a statement, a deliberate choice to immerse himself fully into the psyche of a figure burdened by the weight of circumstance. Gray hair streaks through his locks, lending an air of weary wisdom, while a pair of unassuming glasses perch on his nose, softening the edges of his otherwise formidable demeanor. And then there's the full beard, a thick, unkempt cascade that frames his face like a mask of forgotten dreams. This isn't the clean-shaven, chiseled Hopper fans know. This is a man who has weathered storms, both literal and metaphorical, and emerged altered in ways that demand attention. As cameras rolled under the direction of none other than Courtney Cox, the iconic Monica Geller from Friends, now channeling her comedic timing into more dramatic pursuits, Harbour moved through scenes with a quiet intensity. Between takes, he was far from the isolated method actor stereotype. Instead, he engaged warmly with the crew, exchanging laughs and insights that spoke to his reputation as a grounded professional. Clutching his script like a lifeline, he pored over lines, his eyes darting across the pages as he mentally bridged the gap between the real David Harbour and this enigmatic new persona. It's these glimpses of vulnerability amid the glamour that humanize him, reminding us that behind every drastic change lies an artist committed to authenticity. At the heart of Evil Genius lies a story ripped from the headlines, one that grips with its blend of tragedy, absurdity, and profound human frailty. The film draws directly from the infamous pizza bomber case of 2003, a real-life saga that unfolded in Erie, Pennsylvania, and continues to haunt criminologists and true crime enthusiasts. Brian Wells, an unassuming pizza delivery driver, found himself ensnared in a web of extortion and desperation. On that fateful August day, Wells entered a local bank wearing a collar bomb strapped around his neck, a cruel device rigged with explosives and a timer, purportedly planted by shadowy manipulators who forced him into the robbery. What began as a routine delivery spiraled into chaos when the bomb detonated prematurely, claiming Wells' life in a horrific explosion captured on grainy security footage that would later fuel endless speculation. The case's layers are as intricate as they are disturbing. Investigators uncovered notes in Wells' possession, cryptic instructions that led to a scavenger hunt of sorts, pointing toward buried treasure and further demands. Theories abound. Was Wells a willing participant in a larger heist gone wrong, or a victim coerced by a cabal of acquaintances including Marjorie Diehl Armstrong, a woman with a history of volatility and manipulation? The trial that followed painted a picture of love twisted into control, loneliness festering into violence. Diehl Armstrong, convicted in 2011, maintained her innocence until her death in 2017, leaving behind a legacy of unanswered questions. Evil Genius promises to delve into these murky depths, exploring not just the mechanics of the crime but the emotional undercurrents, the desperate bids for connection that propel ordinary people toward extraordinary acts of destruction. Courtney Cox, stepping into the director's chair for what she has described as a dark, emotional and fascinating project, brings her unique perspective to the helm. Known for her impeccable timing in sitcom gold, Cox has long harbored ambitions beyond the laugh track, and this film marks a bold pivot. In interviews, she has emphasized the thematic richness. Love as a double-edged sword, manipulation as a silent epidemic and loneliness as the true antagonist. It's about how isolation can warp us, she might say, her voice carrying the weight of someone who has navigated her own public heartaches. Under her guidance, the ensemble cast assembles like pieces of a fractured puzzle. Patricia Arquette, an Oscar winner whose portrayals of resilient women in Boyhood and True Romance have etched her into cinematic lore, brings gravitas to a role that likely mirrors the cunning Diehl Armstrong. Michael Chernus, with his understated intensity seen in Orange is the New Black, adds layers of quiet desperation. Garrett Dillahunt, a character actor from Deadwood to Raising Hope, infuses proceedings with raw authenticity. Ryan Eggold, fresh from medical dramas like The Blacklist, navigates the moral ambiguities with ease. And Harlow Jane, emerging talent with a fresh-faced vulnerability, rounds out the group, her presence a nod to the next generation of storytellers. For Harbour, this role is more than a departure, it's a reclamation. As Hopper, he has shouldered the Upside Down's horrors, from interdimensional threats to personal losses that test the soul. But Stranger Things has also thrust him into a vortex of off-screen scrutiny. Just prior to this transformation, whispers of tension on set surfaced, allegations from co-star Millie Bobby Brown, the 11 to his paternal protector, claiming harassment and bullying. The production team launched an investigation ahead of the final season's filming, a process that underscores the industry's growing reckoning with workplace dynamics. Though details remain sealed, the episode highlights the fragile balance between creative families and real-world boundaries. Harbour, ever the diplomat, has historically deflected with humor, but such shadows linger, prompting reflection on how fame amplifies every misstep. Beyond the screen, Harbour's personal life has mirrored the emotional turbulence of his characters. His separation from singer Lily Allen earlier this year sent ripples through tabloid waters. A union once celebrated for its blend of rock and roll edge and intellectual spark now dissected under public microscopes. Allen's recent album, West End Girl, arrives like a cathartic exhale, its lyrics laced with allusions to betrayal and the sting of infidelity. Fans pore over tracks, mapping them onto the timeline of their split, verses that evoke stolen moments and shattered trusts. Harbour, meanwhile, channels such rawness into his work, his beefed-up, bearded visage and evil genius perhaps a metaphor for carrying emotional weight. It's a reminder that actors aren't impervious. They draw from the well of lived experience, alchemizing pain into performance.